How to fix the Chevy HHR suspension clunking. Part 1. Sway bar bushings. This 2007 Chevrolet HHR made a sharp knocking or clunking noise when driving over bumps. The clunking was most prevalent when driving over uneven road. This video will illustrate a brief diagnosis and the replacement of the sway bar bushings in Part 1, and then the replacement of sway bar links in Part 2. To replace the bushings, you will need 10mm and 16mm sockets, corresponding ratchets, a short drive extension, a 15mm crescent wrench, a car jack, jack stands, and wheel chocks. Place the vehicle in park or first and engage the parking brake. Raise both sides of the vehicle onto jack stands and remove the wheels. Be sure to partially loosen the wheel's lug nuts before lifting the tires off the ground. Inspect the knuckle and suspension assembly of both sides of the vehicle. Wiggle to find loose or broken components that could be generating the knocking noise. Also look for worn or broken joints, boots, seals, and bushings. Everything on the driver's side looked fine, although the sway bar bushing showed signs of wear. The passenger side looked the same, however yanking on the sway bar caused a familiar knocking noise. Closer inspection revealed chafing on the sway bar and on the lower control arm. It was presumed that the worn bushings were allowing this contact, causing the noise. Time to replace the sway bar bushings. Make sure the vehicle is properly supported and chocked. To remove the old bushings, the bushings retaining brackets will need to be loosened. On the front of the bracket is a 16mm bolt accessible from above. At the rear is a 10mm bolt and 15mm nut accessible from underneath. Remove the front bolt and loosen the rear nut. Slide the old bushing out, noting the direction of the gap. You will likely need to jack up the steering knuckles slightly to provide some clearance to do this. To fully remove the bracket, you'll need to force the rear bolt down to get enough clearance to remove the nut. This can be tricky. Compare your new bushings to the old. They should both display the same number, 25mm for this Chevy, being the diameter of the sway bar. Wipe or scrape any residue off the sway bar, bushing platform, and bushing bracket. Seat the new bushing on the sway bar with the gap facing rearward. Relax the suspension partially, making sure the bushing sits square on its platform, then fully relax the suspension. Reassemble everything in reverse order. Follow the same procedure on the other side of the vehicle. Now yank on the sway bar to see if the new bushings fix the rattle. In this case, they didn't. The HHR continued to make the clunking suspension noise. The primary culprit, being the right sway bar link, will be replaced in Part 2 of this video.